Welcome in, team, and this is take 2 of me recording our blue level intermediate workout. I started a whole spiel in this last one, but this time I'm gonna make it simple. We got burpees, we got 4 other movements, and we're focusing on your legs this morning. Cool, so I'm gonna walk you through the movements and then we're gonna get into the workout. If you wanna jump straight to it, just check the description below. There's a little chapter link there, it says the workout. Otherwise, stick with me and I'll talk you through these movements. I mentioned burpees, let's talk about a burpee. If you haven't done many of them before, we can actually regress the burpees. And the first thing that you'll wanna do when you're learning a burpee is learn what I call a squat thrust. So you're gonna squat down, heels on the floor, heels on the floor, hands onto the floor. After that, thrust the legs out, thrust them back in, and then finish off the rest of that squat. So it's a squat thrust, yeah, down, thrust it out, and then standing up. That's the regression. If you want to go into your full burpee, because you feel like you've got enough gusto or caffeinated beverage, you can drop down, thrust back, chest to the floor, jump up like you're on a surfboard, and then jumping up into the air, full hip extension, hands above the shoulders. So strung together, it looks like this. It's the famous burpee that everyone hates so much. Reason being, you string enough of them together, it does become quite difficult. Bit of a cardio, you see my heart rate jumping up? That's what we're after. The next movement is the Drinky bird, okay? So who's seen The Simpsons? Who's seen in the dollar cheap stores? The little bird full of liquid that you know, dips down, dips its nose into the drink. That's what we want to do, except on one leg, okay? So we're gonna do the left side first. Left foot planted into the floor. The right leg is gonna dip out like a counterbalance, okay? Snips loves Drinky birds. If it's the left foot on the floor, I'm gonna take my right hand, that's gonna reach for the left foot. So hinging at the hip, trying to maintain a pretty straight back and straight leg. You're allowed to bend the leg just a little bit. So you're hinging at the hip, tapping the floor, and then bringing yourself back to full stand, but don't let this leg touch the ground. That's your challenge. So you're dipping your nose and down. So this might be a little difficult for people. If you've not done this before, you're trying to maintain balance. Few things you can do for that. Looking out to a spot in the distance. Don't look at your hands or anything. Look out further, because what happens is your brain's tricked into thinking about stability. So if you're stable, you're gonna have a better time with your hips and your ankles there. The other thing you can do, listen to my breathing, all right? I breathed in, I took a big inhale, I braced my core, made a solid core here as I went down. As I was coming up, the concentric phase, I was exhaling there. Cool, so there are your Drinky birds. You're just gonna need practice after that. Then we're going into side lunges, okay? Salty, morning, how you going? Side lunges, we're beginning standing up like a matchstick. What we're gonna do is alternating left and right, step to the right, down into a lunge, almost like a single leg squat with one leg straight, both heels on the floor, and then using all the power in this bent leg to bring ourselves back to the middle. We're then gonna go the other way. See, the heels remain on the floor, torso pretty upright. I'm trying not to hinge too far forward. It's inevitable, you are going to hinge a little bit, just because of the way that this movement works. And then using the power in that bent leg to bring you up to the middle. That's our side lunge. Notice how we're starting in one position, we're then moving one leg out and bringing it back, moving one leg out and bringing it back. That's what makes it a lunge. The reason I say that is there's another movement later, which is slightly different, but very similar, okay? We're now doing the squat side leg lifts after that. So a squat, pretty simple. If you've done the green workouts, you'll know all about a squat. But at the top, we're gonna do that side leg lift, bring it down, side leg lift. So what we're doing now is using all those regular muscles, quads, glutes, calves, core for the squat, but then we're also throwing in that little bit of extra spice and activation for our glute medius on the side. Very, very important muscle. After that is the Cossack squat. So think back to those lunges. What we're doing instead though, instead of being in the middle and stepping out, we're gonna be stepped out already and moving our torso in between them. So out to the sides, pretty wide with this one. We're gonna drop down, heel's gonna remain on the floor, toes gonna go up. you're gonna feel a slightly different stretch with this one. It's gonna be activating the adductors, the groin muscles on the inside of your thighs here. Torso, pretty upright, okay? We wanna make sure that our eyes are forward, chest is back, really nice posture with this one. But again, it's similar to the lunge, but slightly different. You're gonna be working some different leg muscles. Very important so we don't become upside down looking triangles with too much upper and no legs, okay? So they're all the movements. Who's ready for this? If you've got a cardio watch or a watch that measures your heart rate, pop that into the correct mode now, press go, and let's start this time and count us in for burpees. All right, how's everyone doing? Off to a bit of a weird start there this morning, but we'll get through. As long as we can tick the box to say we've done a workout today. I might be a little bit late, but that's fine. Here we go. Burpees, burpees, burpees. Start off slow. Here we go. We haven't done much of this workout yet, so I'd like you to start at a pace where you can just string movements together, turn it into a flow. With all of these workouts, I'd like you to turn them into a flow. It's very important that we can just move from one thing to another without a line of delineation, as well as being, sometimes we do want to delineate. Sometimes if we're doing full strict pull-ups or full strict deadlifts or things like that, we sometimes do want to delineate. So right now, what I'm saying is that this workout today, we're smoothly going into rep after rep after rep, okay? Drinky birds, left foot in the floor. Like a plant, like a tree, okay? Big, strong tree trunk. And then right hand reaching towards the left foot. Right leg is going out as our counterbalance. Let's go. With these ones, slower is better. A lot of movements out there, if you can slow them down, whoop, you're actually using a lot more control, a lot more body to make that motion smooth and all controlled by you, okay? If you let momentum do its thing, whoop, up, it's okay. You're able to get some more reps in. In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about things like CrossFit, which we don't poo-poo CrossFit just in general. We poo-poo bad form. And unfortunately, there are a lot of bad CrossFit coaches out there that allow bad form in the name of more reps. With this one, we're not trying to get as many reps as possible. We're trying to do well. Oh yeah, Michaelito, there you go. So in certain circumstances, where it's allowed, you can do as many as possible. But for this one, I think as many proper form reps as possible. We need to change that acronym, don't we? As many good reps as possible. AMGRAP, should we do that? AMGRAP, as many good reps as possible. I think we're going to start that, Celts. You want to start using that? See if it catches on. Probably won't, but we can try. Okay. Oh no, what did I do? I forgot the burpees there, didn't I? Okay, so what happens when you're not watching the screen properly? You forget what you're meant to be doing. I threw an extra burpee set in there, okay? When you do the Drinky Bird right, I'm gonna show you. I got distracted by my soliloquy about GRAP, good reps, as possible. So remember, the right leg is planted into the floor, left hand reaching for those right toes, hinging at the hips, using the glutes and the hamstrings here. Probably don't talk like I'm doing. I've decided to watch the world burn today, and I'm adding some extra instability to my core by talking. You shouldn't do that. If you're learning how to do the Drinky Birds, you're gonna find that talking does disrupt your diaphragm flow there, okay? Burpees. You gotta remember, we're doing burpees now. Let's go. So remember that flow. Remember, we're gonna start stringing these together. I'm gonna go a little bit faster if I can. Add some more reps into it. But the form, to make this a good rep, chest to the floor, jumping on the surfboard, full hip extension. It's pretty important too, when you start a string of movements like a burpee, even if you don't feel like it, start breathing deep at the beginning of the set. Trust me, just getting that extra oxygen into the blood early means you're not gonna find your body needs catching up, okay? What's the thing called for powerlifters holding breath? Increasing pressure. It's called internal abdominal pressure, called IAP. So it's that same thing about a can, right? You've seen the full Red Bull can. I can put my whole body weight and I can stand on it. Whereas the open one, you can crush it. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, side lunges. When we're doing that standing in the middle, we're gonna step side to side. Step, up. So you see my heart rate's in the green now. And what that means is that I'm using an energy system where my body's quite comfortable and it's got enough oxygen. So I'm moving, my body feels like it needs to breathe. I feel like I need more breath. And that's because all of the chemical reactions going on require oxygen. And now in this zone, in the green zone, I'm comfortably getting enough. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. I'm happy panting like I am because I'm doing what I need to. What got you thinking about it, Gold? About the internal abdominal pressure? Burpees, let's do it. Let's see if I can bring that heart rate up a little bit more. Burpees are a quick way to actually increase your heart rate and get into what they call the anaerobic zone. You know what I was thinking about the other day, Gold, is that what kind of a psychopath would just go out and just, randomly do burpees? I ask that as a rhetorical, right? Because you're not psychopathic at all. You're doing what you need to do. But for me, I wouldn't go about my day and go, oh, let's do burpees. Let's do some more burpees. Whatever. For me personally, I think having these workouts, just having a timer, having something that beeps and having something that says, hey, burpee time, lunge time, I don't have to think about it. I just do what I need to do. And at the end of the day, I've probably done close to 100 burpees, maybe. Squat, and then side leg lift. Heels down. Body upright, like a matchstick, you see that? I'm not tilting my torso. Deep squat, torso stays upright. Yeah. The key word in that is abdominal, because if you hold the air high, it's all head pressure and you pass out. That is a great point, my friend. I can also think like if you hold it up high in your chest as well, you'd potentially be disrupting your posture and like your center of gravity even, maybe, to a smaller extent. But you're right, abdominal pressure is quite important. And that's why when powerlifters and big lifters want to try and enhance their internal abdominal pressure, it's with a belt around the belly here. So that's what the belt's for. Burpees. I can't believe that when I was in high school and I was competing in the Telstra powerlift competition, I asked one of the guys there, and it was a fellow competitor, it wasn't a coach. Otherwise I would be pretty disappointed in that coach. But for years, I thought that powerlifters wore those belts because one of the kids in the competition told me that there was a video on the internet, on the dark web, about a powerlifter that was pushing so hard that his kidneys popped out of his back. And so he said they wear the belts to keep their kidneys in their body. And I'm like, whoa. Can you believe that, Makalita? I believed that for a few years. It's like, oh no. Okay, let's go. Cossack squats now. We're going that wide feet. We're dropping down onto one flat foot, heel down, toes up, back to the middle. Torso remains pretty much identical. Upright through this whole thing, shoulders back. Breathing deep into that belly, building up that internal abdominal pressure. Oh, the doggo cuddles. Martha Stewart. It's dangerous, pet cuddles. So Grace and I have always kind of like been, nah, look, bedroom's for us. We don't have the pets in the bedroom. But you know, some mornings, especially like when Mama had a little bit of a bung leg, she would sometimes be like, oh, I'm like, oh, come in. And she would just like get in the bed and cuddle on the bed. But then, you know, the next day at like the exact same time, she starts like headbutting the door. Let me in! Let me in! Like, oh no. I demand cuddles. So yeah, you can't. As is what happens like 5 days after Christmas. I'm still working through the Christmas ham that my mum gave me. And I was carving the ham last night so we can make some ham sandwiches. Let's get some burpees done. And then Grace is like, oh, Jeff, can you help me with this thing? And so, all right, cool. So I went into her office and I would have cut off about 4 or 5 pretty decent sandwich slices of ham. Can you see where this is going? And then I was in Grace's office. We were doing a little bit of video editing, doing some lighting for her Elgato video, which is now live on Twitter and Instagram, by the way. Go check that out. And I came back out, and this was Sid. Ham was gone. The ham was gone. So it was like five chunks of ham like this big. Sid had eaten them in the space of like 30 seconds. No. Yeah, that one. Drinky birds, let's go. Let's get these drinky birds in. Okay, left foot. Gotta remember that I'm doing burpees in between each of the drinky birds. Another tip with this one, if you find you just cannot do them with your straight leg like this, so that's not straight, but it's pretty close. If you can't do them with a 90% straight leg, don't be afraid, you're allowed to bend this leg, okay? You are allowed to drop down like this. You will be using a little bit more quad as opposed to the glute and hamstring combo. But if this is what it takes to regress so that you can start to learn the balance for it, no stress, don't mind. Yeah, the whole ham in less than 24 hours. I'm trying to be good, Muckalito. I'm back in the cut mindset. I may not necessarily have been completely religious to the amount of calories required to cut a little bit, but I'm back in the cut mindset. I was pretty happy with my efforts in burpees, well, also in my efforts in burpees, but I was pretty happy in my efforts to lose 9 kilos for Defiance. Definitely have let it go since then. I've enjoyed it though. Life's been great, but I do want to do a few more running events. So I ran the half marathon with my mate, my old office mate, and that felt fantastic. It just felt so good being out in the sunshine, running for 21 Ks. Yeah, it hurt at the end, but I kind of want to get back to that whole running endurance thing. So yeah, want to drop a few kilos of body fat. Want to get back out running again. And so yeah, I'm in the mindset again. So yeah, no, I'm not going to be eating a whole ham in one day. You're on a cut, it's horrible. You feel like a flat battery. That's what I want to avoid. I don't want to go so intense that I feel the fatigue, because you will. For those of you at home that are working through a weight loss journey, you're gonna have to come to terms with the fact that when you're in a caloric deficit, you're not gonna be feeling like you're as bouncy or as energetic Now, actually, sorry, I should rephrase this. If you are someone who is already active, who, like Makalito, you've lifted, you've done some things, and you're pretty good at your lifting, when you transition to a low-calorie diet, you are gonna find a loss of energy, a lack of energy. Because the reason I changed my phrasing just then is because people that have been sedentary, that have been not exercising, there's gonna be a bit of a balance, right? Dropping the calories, number one, you're not gonna feel a lot of energy, but by increasing the amount of activity you're doing in a day, you are definitely gonna start to feel a little bit more spry, a little bit more energetic throughout the day, because your body is now getting used to the fact that, hey, I'm burning energy. I might actually change the ease at which I switch from sedentary to aerobic to anaerobic. The way that I can call upon energy from the glycogen that's in my blood stream, okay? So it's a balance. If you start adding activity today, you're gonna feel more energetic. If you're dropping calories, you're gonna feel a bit less energetic. So it's gonna be a different story for everyone. But for you, Makalito, yeah, you're gonna feel horrible, unfortunately. I've got some pretty big news as well, team. For those of you watching today, I've spoken about this a lot. Now, I've spoken a lot about side lunges. Well, I speak a lot about side lunges, but I am a qualified personal trainer. I've got Certificate 3 and Certificate 4 in Australia, AQF, or whatever they call it, the Australian Qualification Certs, AQC, of level 3 and level 4, which enables me to do group training. It enables me to do personalized fitness programs for people. There's obviously a lot above where I'm at. Those people are called sports scientists. They have university degrees, and they'll often work with strange cases or very, very specific athletic cases. Not to say that I can't, but if there's issues with the way things are working or specific diseases, that's when I'd be referring to a sports specialist. So I've been talking about nutrition for a long, long time. And in Australia, before I did it a little bit, so actually, Makalito, elderly and children, I am qualified for. Burpees, here we go. So that was the Cert 4. So Cert 3 in Australia let me do group sessions and standard programs. The Cert 4 then upped my fitness game to, in Australia at least, it might be different, it will be different in New Zealand and the world. So Cert 4 gave me the personalized one-on-one programming and one-on-one PTing and elderly and children. So that's what got me to that level. So nutrition-wise in Australia, dietitians were or are one of the only people that are allowed to give personalized meal planning to people. Nutritionists are allowed to work within the government okay, squat side leg lifts, the government okay area. It's now a circle. And people for a long, long time have been asking me, hey Jeff, can you do nutrition? Can you do meal planning? And I'm like, no, I can't. It's within my scope. Or it's out of my scope. The things that are within my scope are to say, you know what, you can eat this many calories, you should eat this much protein, fat, carbs. And if you've got any issues, you're gonna wanna speak to a dietitian. So what's happened in the last couple of years, actually it was in 2019, 2020, there was, obviously, we know this, it was noted by the Australian Nutritionist Council, ANC, that there was a growing number of fitness influencers and personal trainers that were unethically giving out nutrition advice. So what they did, they actually built a bridging course, because dietitian is AQC, or it's the qualification level 8. It's actually a postgrad. A bachelor's degree is level 7. Burpees. So a dietitian is level 8. You have to have been to university for 4 years already, and then you go do another 2 years of uni, and you become a dietitian. Which for people like me, I'm fine to do the study, I'm fine to do the work. I'm pretty confident that I'd be able to brain my way through it, but I don't have the time nor the extra $30,000 for university. So the Australian Nutritionist Council, ANC, actually built a bridging course. They've released in the last couple of years a Cert 4 in nutrition, which does basically the same thing as my Cert 4 in fitness. So it enables me to build, or it would enable me to build. You can learn to play bridge, yes. Canasta, Cossack squats, let's go. So it would enable me to build personalized meal plans for people, as long as they fit into the standard deviation of healthy range. So it begins with, to my understanding, this is how it works. If someone wants to engage me with nutrition, it begins with a bit of a questionnaire, and it begins with a checklist. And if you fall under certain risk categories, like you have certain food intolerances or certain metabolic diseases, then I'm like, nah, sorry, I can't do you a meal plan to work around that. We're gonna have to speak to a dietitian. But if everyone ticks the boxes, okay, cool, I wanna lose weight, or I wanna get stronger, I wanna put some mass on. Here, I have these certain sport-specific goals, then yes, the Cert 4 will actually allow me to write specialized meal plans for most people. So I'm looking in chat here, and I'm pretty sure that most of you would fall under the category of okay to meal plan for. Yes, exactly, Marcolito. So I found it. It's not cheap, it's $9,500. So I'm probably gonna go into like a bit of a payment plan with it. But I sent them an email. I got an email back saying, hey Jeff, thanks for contacting us. We're all on Christmas break. We're back in the office on the 8th of January. So we'll get in touch with you on the 8th of Jan. It's like, whew, let's get our burpees done. So I've actually, Snips, are you still here? Snips, oh actually Goth Martha Stewart, you're here. Last few days for me have been pretty tumultuous. They're pretty heckies. That's what tumultuous means for the kids in chat. Heckies, yeah, no cap. So you know, this has probably been one of the things that have got me through the last few. Oh shit, I leave for work. I'm sorry, I missed it, Snips. Oh man, I'm so sorry, Snips. I'm gonna scroll up. Snippy, gotta go to work. Okay, see you, Snips. But yeah, hopefully, Goth Martha Stewart. Look, I'm not gonna be the most qualified influencer ever. Drinky birds, left foot, let's go. Because I follow some very, very qualified people. This is the thing. Have you ever heard the saying, don't be the smartest person in the room? If you've got a choice, have you heard of the razor? I've been ready to, I've been ready to start swinging. And look, I kind of did, well, I didn't actually take a swing, did I? I really did just word myself in a way that I thought got the message across, but yeah, whatever. So this has actually been a really, really positive little shining diamond in my mind for the last couple of days, Martha Stewart, because I'm really looking forward to this, potentially. You know, it's a 12-month course if you follow it to their letter, but because it's online, they say, hey, you can do it at your own pace. So, you know, I could potentially knock this over in 6 months. So I could be, in 6 months' time, Cert 3, 4 in fitness and Cert 4 in nutrition, and just be like a unit. Burpees. And then when people say, hey, Jeff, can you write meal plans? Or Jeff, I've got a question about nutrition. I can be like, yeah, let's spend the next 30 minutes getting distracted by a discussion. Let's do it. Can you think of how much more content I can add to the day if I'm also qualified in nutrition? How much more bop I can be talking? Look, jokes aside, I'm looking forward to being able to actually answer a lot of questions out there. A lot of things that people want to ask me. So Martha Stewart, I think that's the point as well, is that when you are on one of those specific type things, like veganism and things like diabetes, etc., they will come under things that I can work around as a Cert 4. Celiac, yep. Drinky bird, right. And that's what I'm thinking, Makalito, as well. Because you know what happened with me and my PT certs was that I started going to classes with that one. And my lecturers and the people in my class, actually, you know what? I would 100% vouch for anyone that was in my class that had my lecturers. And I still keep in contact with a bunch of them on Facebook. But the lecturers and the tutors that I had for when I did my cert and the class I was in, everyone in that class I think had a very similar like knowledge base to me. There were a couple of people just fresh out of high school, but they learned very quickly. They were like sponges. But anyone that was in my class I'd vouch for because our tutors and lecturers were basically like, you guys know this. You guys know all of this stuff that you need to be examined on. So what we'll do, we'll make sure you know exactly how to answer the exam questions, but then we're gonna go and spend the rest of our time actually talking about practical application and how you just deal with real life stuff. How you deal with people, how you engage with people, how you actually look to make their lives better as opposed to just seeing dollar signs for your time kind of thing. So I really do appreciate the study or the educational facility I went to. And then also my classmates were really, really good people too. So that's look, exactly, Makalito. If we've got the prior knowledge, we can just knock out the exams as we need to. But also what I'm looking forward to, I suppose, is just being in a group chat with some people that are potentially smarter than me. Side lunges. But yeah, never be the smartest person in the room. And the reason for that is that you always want the opportunity to be learning something. You always want to be humbled by something. Slightly different to being humiliated. You want to be humbled so that you can continue to just grow your own knowledge. It's a bit of a selfish thing, I suppose, but it's also in the hopes of teaching others later on. All right, we're getting through this one. How's everyone's legs feeling? Remember at the start of this conversation, I said, what spurred me to do this workout today was I was watching TV and there was a guy with massive pecs and massive arms and rippling abs and then little toothpick legs. Now, not to say he hasn't put a lot of hard work into building musculature in the upper body, but I'm a true believer in balance in all things, and having balanced lower body and upper body not only will aesthetically look a little bit better, but also, I think more importantly, it'll add a bit more stability to life. Because for most able-bodied people, we spend the majority of our productive time, we should spend the majority of our productive time actually on our feet, using our glutes, using our strong calves and quads to stabilize ourselves, be in a position of readiness, up and about, ready to do a burpee. So yeah. I appreciate you saying that, Makalito. 100% I agree with that too. And that's what I'm always encouraging. Yeah, don't skip leg day, Martha Stewart, never. That's what I encourage. If we can get, people that are experts in their field that drop in and say hello. I understand it's not feasible for a lot of people to drop in at the times that I'm here, but I'm always gonna be welcoming in people that are gonna be specific experts in their field and not necessarily gatekeep the field either. Like, there's nothing stopping us from all having discussions about things as long as we do remain sensible about it. Yeah, cells, and that extends beyond FFP as well. Yesterday I was able to drop into to some other fitness streams just while I was tapping away on the keyboard and doing some more research on this nutrition cert. And there's just such a range of people that, number one, I just don't have the coverage to say hello to all the time. There's so much extra knowledge out there that I'd love to get my head around. Oh, Goal, I'm glad that you feel that way. I'm not glad, I'm actually I'm chuffed. Is that a word that kids use these days? Chuffed? I'm bossing. I don't know. No, I appreciate that you feel that way, Gold. So it's people like you, Gold, that give me that extra challenge of making sure I need to be learning some more stuff as well, because I want to be like a funnel. And you know what? I don't ever want to be a day where it's like, oh no, Jeff, I've heard all these stories. I've heard all your factoids. You got nothing more. You got nothing more to say to me that I haven't heard. Whoa, that's my nightmare. That's my nightmare, Gold. So I've got to be just doing crazy, weird things. We went to a nudist beach. Did I tell you that? So I'm always making, and Grace is the same. We want to make sure that we've got some kind of like, hey Finns, how you going? We've got Cossack sauce now. And this is the last movement before I have to bounce. It's now 5 minutes late. I'm 5 minutes late. So I'm always making sure that we're trying to do some kind of off-stream activity that gives us something to talk about on stream. And we went to the beach the day after Christmas, the Boxing Day or Proclamation Day, or whatever you call it. And we're like, you know what? We want to go to a beach that isn't going to be so heavily populated by the general populace. So let's go to Adelaide's nudie beach. Timer. And if you want to hear the end of that story, you're probably going to need to jump onto Twitch, twitch.tv/fit for purpose, because this is the end of the YouTube video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like the blue one, you got a good sweat on, find some more blue ones. If it was a bit too much, go to green, learn the foundations, or challenge yourself with a purple. So thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, subscribe, like, share it to your friends, anyone that wants to get a workout in without any equipment necessary, okay? Have a good one, team.